Fortnite, you're going to be speaking to me with a little more reverence and respect than you did prior to this.
I try to play beyond the hype.
How come I'm getting like Fisher Price questions?
Guys,
Hey, what's your favorite color?
Greetings and welcome to the Supply Drop, episode 56, a game podcast created by the Princess Fiona, the Donkey, and the Shrek of video game podcasts. My name is Nate. I'll be your host. I'm joined by my two other co-hosts today, the first of which is Scott.
Hello, everybody.
Scott, what was the last live event you went to? Live event.
Yes. I went to a outdoor concert about this time last year.
Okay, so it's a rarity.
It's a rarity, yeah.
Could you say the name of the artist, or was it kind of an unknown artist?
Don't even remember.
Don't remember. Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
They had some food trucks that were really good. I remember that. Tacos were really good.
Were there huge lines?
Not really. Not too bad.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's, there was like, I don't know, six or seven people in front of us. But, yeah, it was just extremely hot. And it was okay. I think I just don't enjoy that like I used to.
Scott, you're a homebody right now. You're a homebody.
I think so. I think after COVID, I think I just converted to, like, if I got a job working at home, I would be, I would like have a beard down to here, and I would just, ramble on this podcast about,
only half of you would be dressed.
Right, right.
Yeah.
But
all right,
yeah, that was it.
All right. Well, that other voice that you heard is none other than Thick.
Hello.
Thick, what was the last non-video game related toy or unnecessary item that you purchased? Something kind of fun.
I kind of did purchase something recently. It was the Galaxy Fold 5.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So the one that's like it's kind of like a really candy bar shaped phone when you have it folded, and then when you open it up, it's kind of like an 8-inch tablet. So
really?
Got one of those because I have a friend that was able to give me a discount, and the trade-ins were good. So I was like, okay, might as well. And I haven't opened it yet because like whenever you switch between phones, it's kind of like you gotta make sure you move everything properly. Some things don't really transfer over, so you gotta just figure it out. I don't like doing the whole automatic thing. I like doing it manually, so I know what's going over, and then I'm kind of cleaning up my phone. But yeah, that's what I got.
Okay.
Cool.
And is that your primary phone?
Yeah, more or less.
I feel like there are some people who are like, I have 5 phones and I can bounce between them.
I am a pretty big phone person.
You are.
I don't have anything other recently. But I like for certain situations, like maybe if I'm going to some place like very sandy, I probably would not bring my fold. I'd probably bring like a candy bar phone that has like dust rating, which I do have older ones. It's just I don't use it really anymore, so I need to update it.
Okay, I gotcha. All right. Well, before we get started, I want to remind listeners that they have to drop us a comment, question, or insult at the Supply Drop podcast. Or else. That's right. See, we're making changes here.
Yeah.
Scott, how was your week? Tell us how your week was.
My week was pretty good. I got a new mic. And this is something that we don't, we are podcasters and we don't really talk about, doing podcasting. But I had the opportunity to get a couple of used mics and try them. Last week, I used a Rode Pod mic. And I think I kind of fell in this, and you guys probably know what I'm talking about. It's like, I need something new. So I'm going to go to YouTube. I'm going to watch like 50 videos on these guys telling me exactly what I need. And which I did. And they all said the same thing. You need a Rode Pod mic. You need a Rode Pod mic. It looks great. You can use it for streaming. You can use it for a podcast. It looks fantastic. Blah, 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 blah. So I got one. I used it last week, and I listened to our podcast afterwards, and it just sounds okay. It's not stellar. It's not. I mean, it looks cool, but then I started going back and listening. It's like watching these more deep dive videos, and it's like, well, this is a good mic if you do this to it, or if you do that to it, or if there's like a caveat to all of it. Yeah. And I think what I did is I kind of fell into this like what people are telling me that I should be using because everybody is using it. That doesn't make it good. So instead, I got the Shure SM57. And if you don't know what this is, this mic has been around for 300 years. It is military grade, meaning it can withstand a nuclear holocaust.
Wow.
I watched a video where a guy ran over it with a tour bus, picked it up and said, see, it still works. And this is the presidential mic from, I think, the late 50s, early 60s. The president uses this mic because it's military grade. If someone sniped him and it actually hit the microphone, he would be completely safe. So
yeah, it would ricochet and hit
Right.
the vice president.
And it's the little brother of the SM7B, which is that big Joe Rogan one that everybody uses. That's like $400. So it's basically that mic just in a smaller format, and also much cheaper. So I I fell into that thing, and then I just and I've got this boring mic that everybody's looking at, but I think it sounds a lot better, which leads me into what I did the rest of the week, which was. I kept seeing all these videos looking for this mic that says go back and play Path of Exile because Diablo 4 is crap right now. The end game is they trashed it, blah blah blah. So I did. I went back and played Path of Exiles, and I played this before. I've talked about it before. I couldn't really get into it before. I played it on Xbox and I played it again on PC, and I think I just had in my mind that this is I want this to be Diablo, and it's not. And I went back and I thought, I'm going to play this again, but I'm going to play it as I don't want this to be Diablo. I just want to, experience this as what it is and really take the time to get into it. Right. And play it as a completely different game. This game is fantastic. It is absolutely amazing. It is free to play. And one of the aspects to it that I really like is that you don't have innate abilities. Like you don't level up and get ice arrows or flaming sword or something. You actually get weapons that have gem slots on it. So when you get a gem slot and then you get a gem, it'll say you have a bow, and then now you have a gem for ice shards, then that is your second ability on your bow. So thus becoming another ability that you have. And you can apply that to other weapons. And so you can also, it's almost like playing a game like Call of Duty or The Division, where you've got all these little facets of your gun, right? So you can add a 50 round clip, or you can add a different scope. That's what you're doing with all of your armor and all of your inventory. And when you get to start really playing around with that, man, you can really come up with some incredible builds. I was having a hard time with it. I was just getting creamed. So then I watched a couple of videos of very, very beginner videos of this is, a game, this is a mount. I mean, it's like super easy stuff. So I start to make a build out of it, and man, I'm just running over people like they're nothing. I'm just like a steamroller. So I've been having a lot of fun with that, and I suggest it. It's free to play. Also, Halo Infinite's really good. It's free to play now. It's in a really good state. It's good to see these games kind of rolling back around. Path of Exiles didn't really go anywhere, but it's back in the conversation again. Where Diablo 4 kind of killed it. It's like, is this better than Path of Exile? And then we didn't hear about it anymore. So after going through this whole mic thing, I thought, man, I'm gonna play this again. I'm gonna kick myself for even downloading it. But in this instance, I was influenced, I guess you could say.
I think it was
it
got in your mind share.
Exactly.
Path of Exile, it's in the mind share right now.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah. But in that instance, it's actually a good thing. Whereas the product end of it, wasn't so great. So, but yeah, that was my week.
So Scott, you were very hot on Diablo 4. Now you are very cold on Diablo 4. It's been a whirlwind.
Yeah, it's I'm not playing the end game.
Okay.
And I kind of just I knew I was going to do. I kind of just played the game as it's presented, and then I'm good.
Right.
And I may go back and play a little bit of it with a new character or something like that.
Yeah.
But I didn't really want it to be a live service game.
Okay.
And this is why, because you go in and you're like, oh, look at all this cool stuff I got. I like this. I like this. And then you go in it again. And it's like, why did they nerf everything?
Oh.
Why is this all changed when nothing feels right? Nothing, and I really don't like that. I wish they would stop doing that in games where you are not pitted against another human being.
I feel like this was the type of game it launched to really good
Really
reviews,
good, yeah.
high 80s, and 2 weeks later on every podcast I'm like, oh, I'm hearing like, oh, Diablo 4 is like, ugh.
I
People are
think
doing that
part
stuff.
of it is the bias against Blizzard. I mean, that plays some factor.
That is,
But
yeah.
it definitely people don't like things being nerfed as well. Like they probably overtune certain things, and there's still things that needs to be fixed within the game.
Yeah, and
Like
and then the apology video.
yeah.
We're sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost clockwork now. I mean, the
Mm-hmm.
Overwatch devs are kind of doing the same thing. But long term, it'll be fine. I think it'll be fine. I still play it.
Right.
Yeah, I think they'll fix it. They'll get it to where, Halo Infinite did the same thing. It's like, oh, we don't have any content, but look at our store, our overpriced store, and everybody's like, come on, man. And then, later after they made like, probably almost $1 billion in the store, they're like, oh, okay, we'll lower the prices, and then we'll work on this and this and this. Yeah, I mean that's just gaming in general. But it also made me think. This is kind of on a little of a side note, but Fable is slated for maybe next year. I think this is going to be a live service game.
You do.
I do. I can see this being like a Sea of Thieves kind of game, but it's going to be kind of like, oh, you finish the game, but oh, look at all this other stuff you can do and buy, and I don't know. Anyway,
That's interesting. What makes you think this particularly about Fable?
one, it's long development time. Two, just about every game that's coming out from Microsoft, aside from Starfield, is a live service game. Redfall, Halo Infinite, Sea of Thieves, possibly Gears of War. I mean, I've said this before that Gears of 6, I think, is going to be an open world live service game. Forza Horizon 5. And yeah, I think it could very well be a live service game.
I think it could. The one thing that makes me think it won't be is the protagonist in the new trailer.
Yeah.
Is that an actress?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they used her likeness.
They used her likeness.
Yeah.
For some reason, I feel like live service, once you get an actor, it's tough to do because everyone's playing as that specific vision of a character, right?
Yeah, but they used that for the trailer. Do we know if that's the
Right.
actual character you're going to be playing?
Right, that's true. We don't know that.
Yeah. So it's, and I'm not saying that necessarily in a negative way or a, reforged gaming way. It's more of like I can kind of see that opening up to maybe there is a single player / co-op game there, and then an end game where you can explore this open world as it may be a different character, or just do new things that they're going to drop in. And if it's really, really good, that may be a good thing. That may be a good thing. We're just like, okay, well, I played this game. It was fantastic. I want more. And then, it's given to you.
Okay.
So, I don't know.
Well, I'm probably still leaning it'll probably be single player, because they already have Playground Games already has Forza Horizon in terms of live service. But we'll see. We still need more information on it, right?
Yeah, it was just an idea I had this week. Something I was thinking about, not really a story or anything. But
that's okay. We'll hold you to it.
Well, yeah, yeah, of course. So when it's not, it's like, yeah, you're wrong again.
All right, so that was Scott's week.
Yep.
Thick, you also experienced a week, correct?
A week, yeah. I think
Roughly
7
same time
days. That's the average week length, right? So
tell us what went going on during that week.
Okay, I mean, I don't think I played anything really new. I played a little bit of Death Stranding, but it's because it was leaving Game Pass PC, right?
Yeah.
I basically finished, I guess, the prologue, kind of, right?
I'm interested in this because I also played this. So,
You,
what was the final thing you experienced in this
trying
story?
to
Was there a boss battle yet or no?
no boss battle really. It's
No
just
boss
kind of
battle.
like there's so much cutscenes. I mean,
Oh
and
my
that's not a
gosh, so
bad
much
thing.
cutscenes.
Not a bad thing because that's kind of like how Kojima games are. So I kind of accept it, right? It's
Yeah,
like you almost expect it. So
right.
and they're good. I think he has good set pieces always. So I think
Yeah.
I ended up back in I don't know the name of the place, but I talked to the guy on the hologram. I forget names right now. All I
Port
know
Knot
is the
City. Port Knot City.
yeah, maybe. No, it
Yeah.
was after. Didn't that
They're
one
all
get like nuked?
I don't
That's
know. I don't know.
you don't even remember.
It's-
Okay, well I
I
had to
remember
guess.
one of them got nuked, but they're all like something not city. Like
Yeah. Oh,
West
okay.
Knot City, you know.
Maybe I didn't realize that they were all knots. So, but yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but then yeah, I just stopped. It's kind of interesting. Like, there's a game that's one of my favorites called Brothers. A Tale of Two Sons, where it kind of like
Hmm.
puts the controller into the conversation of the gameplay in a way.
Hmm.
And I kind of see what did that Kojima kind of did that with the controllers, right? Like you use one trigger to pick up, with your left hand, right hand,
Hmm.
and then like you have to hold it if you have to hold both if you want to be stable when you're walking.
Yeah.
You can put the items on your back, and then but those have a risk of falling off. So I mean,
Hmm.
I do like that sort of aspect to it, but like
Yeah.
for a full price game, I don't know if I'd pay for that. Like, because
Like,
Brothers is.
Yeah. Yeah, I
let me
get that.
ask you. Let me ask you. Is that whole balancing thing with the triggers?
Hmm.
I feel like it's so poorly done. It's like, yeah, like your guy's leaning to the right, you just smash
Yeah,
down the left one and he clears up.
yeah, yeah.
Like I,
I,
I feel like I can see that being like kind of like if it's designed well enough, you can kind of like it would be fun to do. But it's
yeah,
so not fun to do. Like the
yeah.
whole time I'm just like holding two triggers. I guess you go a little bit slower, but
Yeah,
it just doesn't feel very gamey to me, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
And that could be what he's going for. I honestly want to go further in. I might just do it on PS5 because that's part of whatever PS Premium right now. So I might
Hmm.
just try that. But I
Hmm.
actually might actually have this on Steam too from like Humble Bundle or
Oh wow,
something.
Kojima thanks you. Kojima
Yeah,
thanks
yeah.
you.
Yeah, I have multiple copies essentially for now.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Aside from that, I played more Overwatch 2. I did try to go to the PvE missions this week on hard. Could not
Hmm.
find anybody, and that's just kind of a symptom of you having to pay for the PvE, and then
Hmm.
once people are done doing the missions, like
They're done.
you're not gonna get anyone.
Right.
I could not get past the hard version because like the AIs, they're sufficient in some ways, but then like the AIs can't handle some of the more complex things happening in the harder difficulties. So I cannot get past it.
So the game just it fills your lobby with
Yeah,
AI.
if it took a while, I was trying to find people, but no one was playing hard mode of the PvE issue mission, at least at the
Right.
time. So it's kind of a bummer. You probably best way to do is play with friends because there are some little rewards you get for being on the higher difficulties, right?
Hmm.
Can I say something about that? I
Yep.
think that's such a fascinating thing that people at Blizzard are like, you know what we should do with Overwatch? We should make a PvE segment of the game. It's kind of like my issue with Destiny. Like Destiny, I feel like
Mhm.
is a PvE game. Why are you bothering with the PvP? Like I feel like there's PvE players and there's PvP
Mhm.
players, and the Venn diagram doesn't have a huge middle. Am
I
I
think what they're trying to do is gather more like of an audience, but I
right? They're
think
trying to, yeah,
what the whole announcement of them like canceling effectively a good portion of what was going to be PvE. I
yeah.
think that's what they're course correcting. So now that the cat's out of the bag, like I think this is like they're going to focus more on PvP and probably bring back PvE every so often to drum up interest. I do like the story missions because it reminds me of a mode in and it was also I felt was a throwaway mode. It was in Super Smash Brothers Brawl. Do you remember
Hmm.
it's called the Space Emissary?
Yeah.
Yeah, where
It
like
was like a
all the
single player.
yeah, and there was like all these cool cutscenes where you see all your characters.
Oh
It's like
yeah.
fun, right? It's like
Was
a
that
fun.
co-op? Was that co-op?
I think you could play co-op on
You
that
could play
one.
co-op, yeah.
Yeah. So I do appreciate it in that aspect, but
Hmm.
I think like I said, for most people, this probably isn't worth the $15. They probably should just wait for like the whole thing to come out or watch it on YouTube.
Okay. Okay.
Oh yeah, and
All
also I
right.
was playing Exo Primal. I forgot. Yeah, I think you
Oh,
saw me
that's
play.
right. Yeah.
Um, Playing with my cousin, and we're trying to power through, and I'm trying to get him to the turning point, where it kind
Hmm.
of ramps up a little bit, and I also got to another turning point in my playthrough because I'm a little bit ahead in terms of like the progression or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So still haven't reached like the peak yet. I'm trying to power through this. Like this is really casual. Like I'm gonna play it every once in a while and see where it goes. But
Yeah,
it was a good
it's
time.
hooked you a little. It's hooked you more than I thought it was gonna hook you.
Yeah, I think the whole like my cousin puts it in this way as the Capcom kind of charm, like the quirkiness.
Right.
Because like this I don't no one there's nothing really kind of like this anywhere else.
Right.
I think this has appeal if you like Muso games. Like I think I mentioned it to you, right? You know Muso games like the Dynasty Warrior games,
Yeah.
like the dinosaurs, like they're coming in waves, and
Couldn't you
they
say? Couldn't you say it's a little like Left 4 Dead?
it is like
Yeah.
it's got such a mishmash.
Yeah.
It it doesn't fully work,
Hmm.
but it works enough to where it's like, oh hey, I'm not mad at it kind of thing.
Right. Okay.
It's not like oh I'm having a terrible time. I don't think
Right.
I've said that. It's like I might get bored eventually, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I will say, like, I'm trying to understand both you and Scott, and I feel like over time I'm noticing Thick in particular, he likes finding these multiplayer games that aren't the big hits. Like Rumbleverse. He's like, guys,
Yeah.
let's play
yeah,
Rumbleverse together.
yeah.
No one wants to play Rumbleverse.
Well,
You
we
know?
played once. We
We
played
did
once.
play once. Yeah, that's right. The only time I remember about that game is I remember me and you were watching a third party and you went in way too early and I'm like, I am done playing Rumbleverse with Thick after that. I was so
We were
pissed
hiding in a
off.
bush with another person, right?
I don't remember the other person. I just remember you being like, it's time to go in. I'm like, oh, now it's not the time to go in. We should, you gotta wait for a couple of knocks first. But
Yeah.
it, first I remember.
Well, I mean that's just my play style, I guess, compared to
Yeah, I
yours.
know. Yeah, right.
I got a good taste of your play style in Fortnite yesterday.
That's right. We're not talking about that right now. We're gonna talk about
Okay,
that at the end of
okay.
the show. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So Thick, that was your week. You'd call it.
That, yes.
Guys, I have two quick things to bring up for you. First of all, you understand the concept of hangry. It's a
Yeah.
combination of hunger and angry.
Angry. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you, when you're experiencing this, can you outthink it? Can you outthink it?
Yeah.
You can. So you can go into a mode like. So I guess my modus operandi is I recognize that I'm hangry.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Nate, you just got to be quiet. You can't lash out at these people who are bugging you. And then, like, eventually you're going to get fed and you're going to get, sleep and you're going to be better the next day.
Are these people gonna feed you?
Yeah, they're going to feed me. Yeah. Yeah. But then I was thinking, like, I wonder if instead of me having to push through like a bulldozer through this horrible experience where everyone's bugging you, if I can just like click my brain into like, like a refresh, like hitting a refresh on a computer, a debug. So Scott, tell me how it's possible because I want to do it.
I think it's just if you recognize that that's what's going on.
I'm able to recognize it. I'm able to.
Then
Yeah.
you should, just know that. Just like, hey, this is what's going on. It's, I think that's half the battle. No one's half the
That's a-
battle,
Yeah, someone said that. Someone said that before.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever gotten hangry. I think I've what was it? If like you're sleepy, I've been like sleepy and then grumpy.
Cranky. Yeah.
Yeah, cranky.
Okay, so you're kind of influenced by that. I feel like different people probably are more influenced by certain deprivations, right?
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
probably like
yeah.
a blood sugar thing.
Yeah. Okay. All right, number 2, I also played Death Stranding. I want to go through a couple of points that I wrote down here. Thick, this game consists of 3 fundamental ingredients, right? First is the story cutscenes. Now, I know you say that, it's a Kojima game, you got to expect it. These are, did you say they're well done, Thick? Did you
Well
say
done.
that?
Well done enough. Yeah.
I think what you're I understand you saying well done when it comes to like those set piece cinematic moments. Like you remember the one where he like Sam Porter Bridges gets in the truck and he's like talking to that guy and
Yeah,
then the big
yeah.
event happens. That's like a phenomenal movie like experience, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
there's a subtle change in it where like you can kind of see above the truck, but then like it
Oh
kind of
yeah.
dips the camera down and then kind of
It
like yeah,
feels.
yeah,
I
it feels
feel
good.
like Kojima is actually like a cinematographer where he
Yeah,
understands this kind of look for a movie. But a lot of the cutscenes in that game are literally just two characters talking to each other in a room
yeah.
where nothing is like sweeping, nothing interesting is happening, and then you're just being fed this cringe dialogue. This dialogue that my eyes like rolling back like multiple times in my head. Like, what am I listening to? Right?
I could see that actually,
You
like,
could see
because
that.
like like you can't have that level of cinematics for like the whole thing, right? It's just hard
Right.
to sustain.
Right, right. And I, when I'm playing this, I'm going back to my time with Metal Gear Solid. You remember, you guys both played Metal Gear Solid, right?
The Twin Snakes.
No, not the Twin Snakes, the original on PlayStation. Scott, did you play the original?
I remember it briefly. Yeah,
Vaguely.
yeah.
That game, as you're the first like 3 hours of that game, you're constantly being fed like these characters that are they're fascinating characters. Like I
Hmm.
know, like you meet Liquid Snake in the beginning. There's a hind helicopter that comes down. You're like, oh my gosh, who is this fascinating villain, right? So you're constantly being fed this. Every single person in at least in the first like 3 hours of the game is just like so boring. They're just serious and they're telling Sam about like
Hmm.
we've experienced the Death Stranding. We have to
Hmm.
unite America again. Every
Yeah,
character is saying that. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I feel like for such a big component of a game, if that's story, I feel like it's almost a complete utter failure with that game. Another aspect of the game, another huge ingredient is, the game is like it's you're being given a task, right? So you have to
Hmm.
like you got to deliver these materials to a far off place.
Yeah,
So what you do is you have to pull up a map, right? And you kind of have to prepare a little bit, right?
yeah.
I love that idea of like having to prepare and like, all right, how am I going to hang this stuff on my
Yeah,
back? Like,
I do.
what
I
route am
like
I
that
going to
too.
go? Yeah, that's fascinating. I think the execution of that is like abysmal. It's not fun pulling up that map and being like, okay, I could go across the river and down the river, or I could stay on this side of the river and go down. Like that map isn't like giving you interesting things to consider. It's like thick. Is that kind of? Are you agreeing with that?
I did not get to far enough
Oh,
to kind of experience that, so I can't
oh,
comment.
really? Okay. All right.
I've seen,
Well,
I've seen some people. I didn't really pay attention to whether they had the map up or not, or how they were planning, but I've seen people just play it. So,
okay.
You know what
All
does a
right.
good job of that is Outward.
uh,
God, I have to play that game. I have that game.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah, so there is like a planning phase where you have to kind of like be like, all right,
Well,
what am I going to bring?
oh no, you don't have to plan. I mean, you can just go
But
out the
you can.
door but you
Yeah.
you need to, you want to, or you won't last long. I mean, it's
Okay.
So yeah, that's the one thing I liked about Death Stranding, and one thing I like about Outwards is that, um, you know, what am I going to take with me? How much room do I have? How much is that going to be like of weaponry or food or
Uh-huh.
bandages or things that I might need to craft on the way? And I love that stuff. I mean, I love thinking
I love
about
that.
those
Yeah.
things.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a little
And
bit of that aspect in State of Decay as well, right? Like just kind of planning to an extent.
yeah, yeah. When you go out, it's like, okay, we need to go like help these people, or if we need to go get something. Yeah, you want to make sure that you have like a couple of things with you, and then but enough space to get the things that you need. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I like that stuff. I mean, it's basically a survival aspect, but it doesn't have to be something that's in a survival game.
Okay.
You
Right.
know?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wouldn't say Death Stranding is a survival game, but I just know
it's a
like
Strand game, remember?
it's the best Strand game in
Yeah.
existence. I just know like when you're like you have to carry like ladders, right? Ladders and like early on you get ladders and you get ropes to go
Hmm.
down
Hmm.
sharp cliffs. And when I'm plotting my course, I have no freaking idea how many ladders I need. So I take as many as I can. I'm like, I'm gonna have 4 ladders, right? And then I like have to use one of them, right?
Right.
And then you don't even know. You're like, could I have just walked around real slowly, like, and not used the ladder? I
Probably.
don't know. Unsatisfying game. But I will say this. I, I can't believe so few games actually do this. The thing that I actually love about this is the world feels like it feels real. Like the scope, the draw
Hmm.
distances are like you're in the universe, right? It doesn't feel gamey,
Hmm.
you
Yeah.
know? Um I also love the fact that you eventually, Thick, if you keep playing, you're gonna meet mules, which are NPC bad guys. They're just generic guards, right?
Hmm.
The guards can see further than 30 feet, Thick. They can see you from like a long ways away. And I'm
Hmm.
like, video games, I feel like have a hard time doing that. They're like, our guards can see 20 feet or they can see 30 feet. That's
Yeah.
what we're gonna do, right? So I guess that's all I have to say about Death Stranding. I put 3 hours in. I tried so hard to. I should put 5 hours in. I should put six. I don't feel like playing that game anymore, right?
Yeah, I dropped
So
off quite early, only because, and I've talked about it before. It just felt like a lot of it's just weird for the sake of being weird and not for
oh
exposition or driving the story.
right
It's just weird, like
Yeah.
not
yeah
even a good weird, not even a ooh, I wonder what this means. Just a
right.
give me a break, kind of weird. I don't know.
Scott, I played this back when it first came out. Then, like over time, you're part of the narrative. You're just listening to people talk about it on podcasts and whatnot, and then you
Right.
might click on a couple of videos explaining it. And then I'm playing it a second time. Scott, if you asked me what the game is about, I could only give you the very broadest sense of like, all right, there was a Death Stranding event, gotta unite the cities. All the little like what are the little like sciencey words that are like, okay, there's a dooming event going on. I have no idea what a dooming
Yeah,
is.
Yeah,
it doesn't really explain that, does it? I mean, because
I
Maybe
think it doesn't want to. Like, it wants to hint
so.
at what it is, right? Kind of
Okay.
like
Okay.
how Destiny does it to an extent, like the
Right.
yeah,
early.
just poorly.
Yeah,
It's supposed to
just
intrigue you.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess again I compare it to I feel like Kojima's masterpiece, which is Metal Gear Solid. I'm like, oh, I understand this world. I wanna explore this world, right? This is just like I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I think
Oh,
those kind of things work better in cinema than they do in games.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
where-
And cinema yeah. Yeah, because Kojima, I think what Kojima's saying is like, I have like 35 hours to tell people this story, and he thinks everyone's gonna stick with them for those 35 hours.
Yeah, I mean that's what he's
Yeah.
doing. Is he makes a 35-hour
Right.
movie? I
Yeah.
think that's what he said too. Is like, why would I make a movie? It's only 2 hours long. You know,
Right. Right.
But I just don't think it always works in gaming
Right.
as much. You need information to. You need to know
Pull
what
you.
people are talking about so that you can engross yourself in the game. In a movie,
Right.
it's like, oh, it's going to be told to me later, you know,
Right. Right.
or a TV show. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway,
Yeah.
that's
I
why
will
didn't
say
like
the
it.
last thing I'll say on this is I typically hate audio logs in games. You pick up a recording, you have to listen
Yeah,
to it for a minute, because I feel like the game is like, it's like, okay, there's guards in the next room. Why am I listening to this? Like you have to, you know what I mean? You got to focus on the task at hand, not do both things at once. This is one game where I feel like audio logs work because it's so like you're trudging through a river, holding your trigger buttons, listen to the audio log. It kind of
Do
works.
you like the soundtrack, by the way? Because like a lot of
Oh.
people like it.
Yeah,
I hate the soundtrack.
Really,
You hate
I
the
like
like
it.
it? You like
Okay.
it?
I like it.
I'm gonna tell you guys why you're wrong about your opinion. Okay.
Go on.
This is a futuristic America, right? And
Okay.
we're listening to all the music is from 2017 and 2018.
Okay.
I'm like, shouldn't we be like hearing like new music that maybe happened in the last 100 years since the Death Stranding? Like, it just feels
Maybe
like
there
I'm
isn't
very.
any. Maybe that's the point. Maybe there's no new music made because it's
I-
the Death Stranding.
Yeah, I guess I just feel like, oh, it just feels so like Kojima liked a bunch of YouTube music, and he's like, I'm gonna put this in my game. I'm like, dude, it's like I never felt that way with
It's a
Metal
lot
Gear
of-
Solid.
A lot of European bands. Yeah,
Yeah. So
It's very
there's
artsy.
that.
it is.
It's very
It is. I
artsy.
like it.
You like it.
I do like it.
All right, guys, we got to jump to our listener feedback section. Before we kick things off, let's go here. Here's where listeners of the Supply Drop participate in the discussion by going to the Supply Drop Podcast YouTube channel and dropping a question, comment, or insult. Let's go over to our listener feedback correspondent, Thick, and see what he has in store for us this week.
We got nothing.
Nothing this week.
Nothing this week.
This week's listener feedback segment was brought to you by Thick. Thick, we never got your check because we know you're good for it, but really, we're going to take legal action if it doesn't arrive in the mail this week. Thanks for sponsoring the show, Thick.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Here we go. All right, Scott, tell us about the news. What were the big news stories for you?
There was a couple of news-ish stories. This seems to be, I don't even know if they're really news anymore. It's just commonplace. But we know that Forza Motorsport is coming out on October 10th, and it's going to come with less features than previous versions. And a couple of them make sense. Asaki, who was one of the developers, quoted, "Having players come into a featured multiplayer event and taking player slots and then spectating. It's not really the racing we had intended," he says. Similarly, racing with AI and featured multiplayer with all its potential impacts on your safety rating, also didn't make a whole lot of sense to have this, and is not going to be available at launch as well. So spectator mode and racing with AI and featured multiplayer has been taken out, and those kind of make sense. I think before, it's been forever since I played a Forza game. It seemed like if you're in a multiplayer race and then somebody drops out, either they get booted or whatever, an AI would take over that vehicle, and instead of being like, Leafy 420 or whatever, it would turn into like just Bob 24. And then but what he's saying is that car now is a factor in your race that would normally be there. So it's gonna affect your rating overall after the match. And then spectating, I think that probably just people weren't using it. But the big thing is, he says, for split screen, heavy investment in pushing our new graphical features and complete overhaul of the rendering engine unfortunately made split screen really difficult to implement, and is also not going to be in for launch. So this is the discussion piece. So they're losing, much like Halo Infinite, they're losing split screen, which was in previous titles. What do you guys think about this?
Well, we already know another title is not featuring split screen for now. Well, is not releasing because of split screen, which is Baldur's Gate 3, right?
Right. On Xbox.
Yeah, so I know a lot of people are saying, you know what they're saying, right? They're saying this is because of the Series S.
The S is holding back gaming in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't agree with that personally, but
I don't agree either. I think like 90% of the games that are coming out are fine on the Series S. Yes, they have concessions. It's 30 FPS rather than 60, but it's still coming out. So
and also, for Halo Infinite, I said this before, but it's like you've got this team that's like they're having a race to fix this game as it's out.
Yeah.
And they dropped it because they don't make any money on it. They can't sell it. They want those teams to make stuff that they can sell, which makes sense in a business form. But it's really, to me, I have to ask the question: it's like, how many people are still using split screen in this generation of consoles? I mean, it's not a feature that's in a lot of games in general. When it's not implemented in a game that didn't have it previously, no one is mad. And honestly, it's how often do people play split screen? I know there's a percentage of people out there that are like, we've always played Forza and Halo split screen with my brother, and no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these games have been out for a while. Maybe your brother should buy his own Xbox.
Right.
I mean, there's something to be said for sitting on the couch and playing with a friend or a loved one. But you can also do that with just another TV and another Xbox,
Yeah.
And I'm not suggesting somebody just go, that they have the money to do that. But I just think it's 2023. Split screen is not going to be a thing going forward. And I would rather have, for me, the fidelity and the frame rate over that feature any day of the week. Probably because I just, don't play split screen. But I don't know. I know how this is going to be taken. And Thick, you're right. I'm sure the conversation on Twitter is already, Series S can't blah, 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 whatever. But I honestly think that this may be a wise choice for this particular game.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of times, people like kind of jump to the lazy devs argument, but a lot of times it's really priorities,
Yeah.
and I feel a lot more developers are not prioritizing split screen as like, oh, let's put this in the pipeline early and, nip it in the
Yeah,
bud. They usually do it afterwards right
yeah,
now.
because they look at their numbers. They know how many people played Forza Motorsport 4 split screen. They're going, like 2,000, or I'm just making
Right.
up a number, obviously. But if they're looking at it, and it's like it's on a very much, it's declining. So just to put the resources in it. So
I mean,
there-
maybe it's a chicken and the egg thing where it's like it's declining because people aren't putting in their games. So
well, it's not.
less people are playing.
It's not a feature. Right, exactly. But like I said, it's like new games that come out or new IPs. They don't have it. Nobody complains.
Yeah.
Like, why doesn't this have split screen? I mean, well,
Right.
because you're getting 4K at 60 frames per second is why.
Yeah.
I'm gonna straddle the line. I'm gonna pull a thick here. I'm gonna do. So on one aspect, so Halo Infinite also doesn't have split screen, correct?
It doesn't have split screen co-op
But it has split screen PvP.
multiplayer. Yeah.
All right. So can you do two people on one screen and you can go play in a big team battle online?
Yeah.
You
I
can do
think
that.
so. Yeah.
Did
Okay.
we try that? Has someone tried that yet? I have not tried
No.
it.
I mean,
I can't verify.
Right.
I don't know. Now that you say that, I don't know if is it restricted to custom game only or local game only? I wouldn't
Yeah, I
think
don't
so.
know.
Nah, I bet it's
Yeah.
not.
So we
don't know.
do know with Halo Infinite, like they had a working model. Then
Oh yeah,
like
somebody got it to
yeah.
work. Yeah.
They dropped it for some reason.
they dropped
right?
it. Yeah.
Well, it
Yeah.
wasn't
Maybe
finished.
couldn't
and
optimize it.
Yeah, I mean, they needed resources to, they needed to scramble to try to start making money on this thing, and it didn't.
Right.
It failed, and we saw what happened. With a lot of layoffs. So, these guys are just being upfront about it and saying we're not doing it. It's not out yet. It's not like I would prefer them to be more transparent and say this is what you should expect. This is why we're not doing it.
Right.
The spectator mode and the racing AI feature multiplayer, that makes more sense why they would not do that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I wonder if, as we're kind of approaching the second half of the generation, I do wonder if, these newer games are going to have an even harder time on that Series S. Right? Because I feel like
Yeah.
when you're doing
think
cross-gen titles, you could split screens, easy because you're really working from 2013 hardware, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But but I totally agree with you, Scott. I don't think enough people play this. I think there are game types where same screen is a little more important. That's kind of casual titles like Moving Out and Overcooked.
Overcooked, yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
it takes two.
right.
Right.
Whereas like, I got a couple of kids in my house, or we're all gonna play this game. I don't
Yeah.
think like a ton of people are saying my other kids we all want to jump in a Nissan GTR and race around Forza
Yeah, I don't
Motorsport,
think so
right?
either. I don't think this is
Yeah.
it's gonna be in the discussion, and I know the other camp is gonna eat it up, but I don't really think anybody that's a Forza fan is gonna be
No.
heartbroken over this
Yeah.
because of the type of game it is.
Yeah, and I know like I'm kind of a Gran Turismo fan. I like these types of games. I would trade Gran Turismo for Forza Motorsport in a heartbeat. Like I think Forza Motorsport is a way more interesting game right now because not cross-gen. I feel like they've put a significantly more time into Forza Motorsport than GT7, right? So
it's funny you do say that because I was thinking like I am feeling like Forza Motorsport 8 might have similar kind of like not like with the recent Gran Turismo release, like it was kind of released with like I guess somewhat lack of content in some way, and I could
Right.
see that happening for Motorsport as well.
Yeah.
right.
Maybe they're
We'll,
trading
we'll
off
see.
trading off that fidelity. Because these
Yeah.
games, it's all about the fidelity. I mean, you want it to look,
Yeah.
you want that track to look like you just drove there and
Yeah.
said, "Where's my car?" Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. I prefer Forza Motorsport over Horizon. I'm not.
Yeah,
I
I'm in
like
the same boat.
sim kind of racing. I can really get into that.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. So,
Yeah.
so I do have another one, which is kind of a no-brainer, but it's also kind of weird. Okay, so we know that Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 has been announced. It's coming out on November 10th, but we also got some information, but we didn't really get information. So I'm going to give you the rundown of the stuff that Activision said is new. So new open combat missions in campaign.
Open world.
Open combat. I don't know. I can only assume that like in the single player missions, maybe it's going to give you options, whereas all the previous ones are basically just hold your hand, you know, and you just tell you press A, shoot gun, shoot this guy. You know, maybe this is something where you're going to be able to tackle it on your own in any way you want to, which is cool. I mean, I think.
Quest log.
But they don't say that. They just say open combat missions. Okay, and the next one is new combat vests and perk system for purchasing more. Customizing your multiplayer operator. So there's a new perk system and a combat vest. They don't explain it. New is the TAC stance movement.
TAC stance?
TAC stance. TAC stance.
It's like a crouch walk?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't
the
know.
Stranding movement system.
Maybe.
Well,
I don't know.
Can you crouch walk in Call of Duty right now?
Yeah, you can crouch walk.
So this is strange. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what that is. And then they're not giving a breakdown of a video of showing this stuff either. And of course, new aftermarket parts for unparalleled gunsmith customization and more. That's pretty much self-explanatory. And then of course the big thing is all of this will be including Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 and all of that is going to be combined to be Call of Duty HQ. Now on Steam, mine has already been
Call
converted.
Of Duty, right?
It just says Call of Duty, right? So it's not going to be, from what I'm hearing, like the multiplayer, you will still be playing Modern Warfare 2, but Modern Warfare 3 will be adding new maps and new weapons and new things to that multiplayer. Now, this is what I've said Call of Duty needs for the last 5 years, is to stop giving us a new Call of Duty every year and work on this one Call of Duty that everybody likes, which is the Modern Warfare / Black Ops, and combine that into one multiplayer game where it can be refined and made a live service and continuous maps and guns and all kinds of stuff that, you know, could potentially be better than next year playing Vietnam or the Cuban Missile Crisis or whatever. So that to me is a little. I think that's a good thing. My hard drive says differently, but I don't know. But otherwise, all the other stuff sounds great. Don't have a clue what any of it is. And this is coming out on November 10th.
Do we have a time frame for like more of a reveal than they say sometimes?
No, the only thing that they've stated so far is there will be a beta. PlayStation is getting that first, probably for the last time. And then that's in, I think, mid-October.
Okay.
So there will be like an open beta that everybody can try out the multiplayer and stuff. And the only other news I have is I want to go on record as I might have made a giant mistake.
Ooh.
So Starfield is coming out on September 6th, and we know that it is going to be on PC Game Pass. So for me, I just have to download it and play it. But the other day I started thinking, well, what about mods? So people are already like ready to mod this thing. And if you're on PC Game Pass, there's probably mods that are not going to be available to me.
Yep.
Right. So it's not something I really thought about until now is
Right.
So I bought it on Steam. Even though it's available free to me.
That's interesting. That is interesting.
So it might be a wasted purchase. I don't know, but I might be just a complete genius. So I don't know. We'll have to.
Scott, how quick do these mods typically come out? Do you know?
Fairly quick. There'll be some really basic ones that will come out probably within the week.
Wow, that quick?
Yeah.
How soon do you usually mod your games?
As soon as they come out. It depends on
So
the
you
mod,
don't-
of course.
You won't play one vanilla run of just how it is.
I don't know. It's really hard to say. I mean, with this game, I might be so enthralled in it. I'm not even. I don't care about the
Yeah.
mods.
Yeah.
But I know that with their previous titles, I do play with mods. I mean, the mods is like 50% of the game. So
Yeah.
am I? I don't know. I'm still. Again, I think that maybe I don't want to have it on PC Game Pass and then be like, oh, well, look at all these new mods that are always popping up and all this stuff all this like one thing that I hate about the game
Yeah.
is somebody fixed it, right? But you can't implement that. So I don't know. I might be, like I said, it might be stupid or I might be a complete idiot. Who knows?
No, I think it's fine. Like, for me, it's always different. Because I started Fallout 3 on 360, right? So
Yeah, same here.
I never really had like an interest in mods until I finished the game. Like, to me, that's a post get more mileage out of the current game. I like seeing the developer's original vision, bugs and all, usually.
Yeah.
It's fascinating that people will do. Most mods are not. You don't pay for them, right?
Yeah, most of them are free.
It's amazing how there are some people who love working on games so much they're just like, for the love of the game, I'll work on this mod. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, most of it's like, this is really irritating me. I made my one and only available mod. I don't know if it's still out there, but the game Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2, which was came out in 97. I absolutely love this game. But there was one thing in the game that I really hated. When the character ran in first person, his fists were like in front of your face. It's like you couldn't like get anything, like you were always like had something, either a gun or your hands or something in front of you when you put your weapon up. And even when you ran, they were like doing like, up and down in front of your face. So I got rid of those. So I made a mod to where when you holstered all your weapons and weren't putting your fist up to punch somebody, they just weren't available. You didn't see them.
Oh,
and
that's cool.
Yeah. So it was just something that irritated me, and I fixed it.
Could you tell how many people downloaded that mod?
At the time, no, not really.
No.
You just kind of put it on. Yeah, you put it on like a what do we have at the time? An FTP site.
Okay.
And yeah, people just downloaded it. I don't know if you actually could see how many that was downloaded. I mean, they could. You couldn't.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. No, that is cool. That is cool.
Yeah.
I'm Team Vanilla. I gotta experience that first run through with just
Really?
how the developers intended. Yeah. I do know there are a lot of mods that are pretty. They're not in your face, right? It's not like the.
Yeah, there's a lot of very subtle mods. Like
Yeah.
it could be like a filter to
Crosshair.
the game.
Yeah.
Texture fixes. Animation. Then there's
It's not all
UI.
Thomas the Train Engine is the dragon in Skyrim.
Those come
Like,
later.
It's not all those.
Yeah.
Those come later.
That's going to be coming to Starfield 100%.
I'm thinking probably pieces to make the Millennium Falcon your ship, or Serenity from Firefly will probably be close behind.
Yeah, that will be interesting. Like if people could start making their own parts.
Oh yeah, see that's what I'm. See that's how I think. So I'm just like, if I'm over here on PC Game Pass and I'm like, wait a minute, I can have the Millennium Falcon, and I I can't. It's not available to me. Then that's. And it doesn't change the game. There's a lot of mods that don't change the game whatsoever. Just kind of changes like either aesthetics or how you play it, or something like that. It doesn't change any outcome, or so. I don't know. I might be preemptively freaking out about it. Who knows?
I think it's good to have it on Steam. So
yeah, I like to support Steam too. And I know this is a game that I'm probably going to be playing for quite some time. The people that have it now, of course, are under NDA, but a lot of them are going, it's really good. It's like I can't tell you anything about the game. I can tell you, oh my God, it's amazing. So that's a good sign. That's a really good sign. Usually if they don't say anything, it's not a good sign.
Isn't the review embargo like a week early, which is another really good sign?
On the 31st? 30th, yeah.
The 30th, yeah.
30th, and then it comes out on the 6th?
The 5th.
Yes.
Oh, it comes out on the 5th?
Well, It's like at midnight, so it's like the 5th and 6th, depending on where you live.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah. Or you can pay extra money and play it on the 1st. God, I hate it when they do that.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Which one are you playing it,
No,
Scott?
I got the regular version.
Oh,
I
so you're
got
gonna have to wait.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna wait, but I don't know. We'll see.
It's funny, game prices haven't really gone up. I mean, I guess they did just recently go to $70 for a lot of companies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm always like, how do you extract more money out of those single player gamers? And I think that's actually a smart idea to be like, hey, a week
Yeah.
early, give us another
But
10
that's
bucks.
Or
another-
like this
their
guy that
audience.
he got the watch and the what else did you
Yeah.
got, man?
The watch, the controller, and the headset.
Oh wow.
And also, well, I mean, this is mostly because I went to FanFest, a bomber jacket.
Yeah.
Which hasn't come in yet, so.
It's a Starfield bomber jacket?
Yeah, Starfield.
Oh, you gotta wear that on
It
the
smells
show.
like
You
Todd
got to.
Howard.
Okay, I'll wear it in the
wow.
winter.
All right.
Any case, to go to my news, it's actually part Starfield as well, right? So,
Yeah.
basically, Starfield has gone gold, so that means you
Yep.
could, they print out the copies or whatever. You can pre-download it on Game Pass now, on your PC, Game Pass, or your Xbox. They did a Discord AMA kind of thing, like, I believe it was the lead artist and the lead game designer. I don't want to say their name because I think I'm going to mess it up. But basically, a couple new details. Might not be relevant if you haven't really played a Bethesda game, but I'll just go through the list real quick. Over 20 companions. About 4 of them will be like, they'll have like probably a deep storyline from what I understand. The others will be kind of like named characters. They could join your ship and all that stuff. The kids trait,
Yeah.
or was it? Yeah, where you have parents.
Yeah.
Basically, the way you design your character, your parents will kind of look like just
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it happened in Fallout 4 as well, right? Where like you design one of the parents, and then your baby will look kind of like you.
Yeah.
So it's like the reverse of that. So I thought it was interesting.
Oh yeah.
They're going to feature real religions in the game. It's going to be somewhat serious story, is what they said. There's going to be a couple of like fake religions to kind of add to the game. So like it's going to be very, I don't know, theological, philosophical kind of game. Potentially, who knows? You could buy properties in the game. I think that was already given.
Yeah.
Jail system, but the jail system is more like Skyrim rather than Fallout 4.
Can I ask you a question? How is the jail system fun? Explain that to me as a player.
Scott, you might know more because I just kind of don't care.
It just gives you kind of an option. Like in Skyrim, if you get caught doing something, you can pay the fine, and then basically what happens is you get sent to the jail. You don't do any time, but you kind of have to pay your fine there. But while you're there, they take everything that you've stolen. So if you've got anything on you,
you have to break out?
no. You just pay your fine, but when you leave, you don't have anything that you had stolen, in your inventory. So if you're a thief and you've got all this stuff that you collected, it's you may want to go with option C, which is run, or fight,
Okay.
and then say I'm out of here. So option B though would be like, no, I'm going to do my jail time, and you actually have to spend time in jail. So and your stats deplete a little bit while you're in jail. Yeah. So then when you get out, you have to build that back up again. So you have 3 choices, and that's kind of what they're doing here. You have the choice of just paying the fine, or doing the time, or fighting your way out. So depending on your situation, it might be better for you to, shoot the guy and head for your ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think someone mentioned that there might be a quest revolving around the law system.
Yeah.
Where you do have to put yourself in jail to do something within the quest.
Yeah.
So I'm curious on that one.
Yeah.
No pacifists, like complete pacifist playthrough.
Right.
Like there's no way to do it. And there might be mechs you could use. I know there's mechs in the game, right? No one's kind of like,
yeah, this is really cool too, because they said that there's some mechs in the game that apparently during the big war they used them, and they were so powerful that they outlawed them after the war was over. So you couldn't manufacture them anymore. But and then he said something to the effect of, "So I can't tell you that there's a planet with like a surplus of these mechs laying around, to kind of give somebody a carrot to go look for these things." So yeah, that sounds really cool.
So it sounds like you will be driving one of these mechs.
If you find one.
Hopefully. It would be kind of disappointing. People will probably make articles about it being disappointed that they couldn't pilot it if that's the case.
Yeah.
I'm assuming most likely you can.
You might be able to, but I'm wondering if you could get it on your ship and take it with you, but
yeah,
I don't know. That might be a little OP.
Doesn't it also sound like when you land on a planet, it's only foot traversal? Did they say there are vehicles on it?
I don't think there's vehicles, right?
There's not vehicles, right? But
There's
they did say
vehicles.
you can land on multiple parts of the planet. Like at Atlantis, I think they used an example was you can land there, or you can land anywhere else on the planet that you need to. So it's not like, if there's something outside the city, you're going to have to hoof, halfway across the planet. It's nothing like that. But also you can upgrade your jetpack. You have kind of like a booster pack thing.
Right.
And I kind of think it's probably like Mass Effect Andromeda, where you have like this little booster pack thing that you can traverse with. So that should be fine. I don't really want a rover. Personally, I don't want a rover. I mean, it's hard to implement, especially depending on the terrain that you're on. If you're on a planet, it's just like a bunch of woods or plant life. I mean, you're not going to be able to use a vehicle anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe unless it was like a little helicopter or something, but nah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a big deal.
Okay, so the pre-download, I think the size of the file is like 150. So it's a pretty meaty game. You're gonna have to clear some hard drive space for it.
Yep.
So I guess like we're starting to get to the hype. Hype is starting to build up for the game. I'm wondering where you guys are at with this. What do you guys think is going to be happening in the next couple of weeks?
I told Thick yesterday 93 Metascore. This is going to score really well.
Yeah.
I think that sounds right.
Yeah. I don't remember what I said. Mine was lower, I think.
Yours was lower. Now, do you feel like it might be bumping up a little bit? Because I feel like there's just good energy about this game now.
There really is. There's one guy that said, "I can't tell you anything about the game, but I played for 15 hours with no bug. Like I didn't run into a bug."
Yeah, I think I read that. Yeah.
And I'm like, that sounds really promising.
He didn't leave the character screen, is what some people say.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He created a character and left it sitting there for 15 hours.
Idly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually getting more excited about it now that I'm hearing that people are playing it, and you can kind of get a good judgment of that. Like I said, if people were playing it and you don't hear anything, that's usually not a good sign. But when people are playing it and you start hearing that in the conversation of that, I can't tell you anything, but
Wait a second. You didn't hear the latest controversy about this game? We need to bring up some negatives about it.
The start screen?
The start screen. What lazy developer.
What a lazy developer,
God.
Yeah.
Whatever. Have you seen
that?
Have you seen the one for Skyrim? It's the same start screen. It's just the logo, and then over to the right, you got your I mean, it's just
okay.
This is a smart move. If you don't have to load a lot of assets for your start screen, I like that personally. I don't care about a snazzy start. I don't know why they even have start screens, to be honest. I mean, if you're playing a single player game, just click the game and go into my game. He's like,
it's in for Bethesda games like that. That's to update the mods, isn't it? Like to turn it on.
Right. Yeah, there's probably like when you go into a saved game or load a game, it's got to update information from them and your login and all that kind of stuff for your mods. But I'm just saying in general, like if it's a first person game, single player game, just go into it.
Right.
You have options. That it seems like there was a game that did that. I want to say, there's a game that did that on PC. Like you click start and it just goes right into the game. Oh, it was Dead Space. So like you go to load game, and then it sits there and it does this little thing. And what you think it's doing is right. It's loading like your next menu, but it doesn't. It loads the game. So you go from your start screen, you click one thing, and you're in the game. It's not like
Nice.
go play, load this, save file number 4 or playthrough number 2 or whatever. It just loads right into it and super quick. So
Yeah, and I think Bethesda's pretty good about that. Like instead of load, it'll just say continue, right? And it'll continue the last save you run.
Right. It'll just be like your last character that you're playing. That whatever the save was, that's your continue. Just click it and you go right into it. So yeah, I don't have a problem with this screen at all. I wouldn't mind if it just said play game, click. I don't care.
I do really like the music to the Skyrim and also Fallout 4, like that music in the start screen.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll just leave it idle sometimes and then come back and it's the bop. So
yeah.
I feel like Starfield has a nice main theme too. I feel like, I don't know, for some reason it was playing on my YouTube and I was like, oh, this is like a 90s epic movie with some I think there's horns in it or something.
Yeah.
Brass. Brass. There's brass.
Yeah.
No saxophones though, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. There's no saxophones in space.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah. I was hoping they were going to use Jeremy Soule for their soundtrack for this one, but he got into some legal action or legal problems with a young lady. I won't go into it, but he's making his own music now. But the guy that's doing this, I think he did Fallout 4. And honestly, I was not a fan of that soundtrack at all. I didn't like it at all. But what I've heard of this one is amazing. It sounds incredible. So, yeah, my hype level has gone up considerably.
Scott, you are day one on this game for sure. You're playing this on first day. Thick, what about you though?
I'll boot it up.
Wow! While Tears of the Kingdom watches with tears in its eyes.
You should put it like right next to the screen so it can see you playing Starfield.
Yeah.
Unopened package.
That's right.
Let them duke it out. Game of the year.
One more question: do you guys have any concerns, or potential things you're cautious about the game coming out?
Yeah, frame rate. Absolutely.
Frame rate? Okay.
On PC. There's not really anything. We know what to expect on Xbox X and S. Without the inclusion of NVIDIA's DLSS. Yeah, I don't know really what to expect. So I'm kind of concerned about that.
This is the game that they're supposedly debuting the AMD one. Was it FSR 3?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So we'll see if that's any better.
Yeah,
this seems to be the highlight.
Yeah, and that can be used on NVIDIA cards. It's kind of like an open thing. It just doesn't necessarily perform as well on NVIDIA, obviously, because they're a competitor.
Yeah.
Do we really think? Do we expect it to legitimately be 30 frames per second on? Am I crazy in thinking there was some video, a promotional video, where people are like, "This isn't even a lock 30," and they're promoting this frame rate? It was like dipping well below 30, low 20s.
I've heard two different sides to that. I've heard that it's locked at 30 because it can go above 30, but they wanted it to be a stable 30 as opposed to a
going all dancing all around.
A variable 60. Right.
Okay.
So when you go from like 30 to 60, that's very jarring.
It feels bad, yeah.
Right. So, but I've heard from one person that did say that they saw it dipping into like 15s and 25s. But
I guess we'll see how often that occurs, right?
Yeah, it's really how often. I don't care if it's like every like couple hours of gameplay, but if it's like every 2 minutes, then that's a problem.
Yeah, that could be a problem. But I don't really think I'm getting that from this just so far as what people are talking about. I think that everybody that's got their copy is on Xbox though, so I don't know if there's anybody out there that got a review copy on PC. I could be wrong about that because I don't know. Just the people that say they got one are definitely Xbox players.
I think Gene Park is playing on Series S. Gene Park on Washington Post. Yeah, I guess.
Series S.
Series S. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll have to see about that. That's really my major concern is to see, that video that they put out. I'm expecting it to look like that on my PC, but
Yeah.
At what frame rate is going to be the question.
Yeah.
We'll see. Thick, any concerns out of you?
Mm, People are hyping up to be the game of the decade. I
Well,
I'm not sure if that will be the case because I feel like Skyrim was a lightning in a bottle, right?
right.
Like and lightning doesn't strike twice.
Well, I mean, I don't even know if
It'll be
it's
good.
like, yeah, but is it likely to beat Tears of the Kingdom and Baldur's Gate with a Game of the Year?
I don't know. I really don't know at this point. We gotta see
Yeah,
when it comes out. That's
yeah.
Does it matter?
I don't think it
No, it
matters.
No, I mean
doesn't.
we got 3
Right,
fantastic games this year. Well,
Yeah.
we
Right.
we will get 3. Hopefully, I shouldn't say that. I
Yeah.
don't want to sound like an Xbox fanboy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean we could potentially get 3 memorable games. Like this may be one of those. Hey, 2023 was a banger year for games. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So that's I don't care about Game of the Year stuff. That's all just propaganda and
Hey, we
politics
did a
anyway.
show on Game of the Year last year. It was one of our most successful shows, I
Okay.
think. Scott's like, I hate it. I hate it.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I don't think it's something that matters. It doesn't affect my purchase.
It's a
of
marketing.
game.
It's a marketing
Exactly.
Yeah.
tool.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If it says Game of the Year on it, that doesn't mean that I'm gonna like it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Last of Us 2.
You guys know me. My concern with this is I feel like there's a hive mind going on in the industry with regards to like what the conversation is, and I feel like people are starting to hype up these single player games like they're just constantly bringing up live
here we
service,
go.
like
Here we go.
see it's
Oh
and
my
I'm just
God.
like these people have a champion. It's
Uh-huh.
gonna be Starfield. Are they gonna be saying like it's even greater than sliced bread? Sliced bread is pretty good, people.
Are they gonna finish it? Yeah.
Are they gonna finish it? Right.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So is that your whole story, your news this week, Vic?
Do you want to go over a quick one?
Let's do it. Hit it.
All right. So this Friday, so it's kind of recent, so almost breaking news. Sega has acquired Rovio. Rovio, the creators of Angry Birds.
Mm-hmm.
They acquired Rovio for about like a little bit under 800 million. So it was
Jeez.
pretty low.
Wow. I could have afforded that.
Yeah, we
that's
could
not-
put it on.
It's like
What is it?
change.
Our GoFundMe.
Right.
So a little bit about Rovio is they've had about 5 billion downloads for their software. We know they're not as big as they used to be, but I think the CEO is saying of Sega, Haruki Satomi, was saying that the mobile gaming market especially has high potential, and then Sega is looking for long-term growth within that market. So this is really to push mobile gaming for Sega.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's where the money is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just. You guys know this. I whenever I walk through the airport, everyone's on their phone. I'm always looking at what people are doing on their phones. These types of games, these Angry Bird types, like
Stalker.
they're not playing console games. They're not playing PC games on their phones. They're playing these stupid mobile games. I don't get it.
Yeah.
It's just casual.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you guys ever play Angry Birds or?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is the one where you fling the bird into a castle and it falls down.
Yeah, and
Pretty
breaks
much
it apart.
Tank, right? Like Tank used
Yeah.
to be is basically the game it's based off of.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I remember
No.
playing Tank on like a TI 80, 85, 86 or something.
Nice. Nice.
Oh.
Well, we'll see. I guess Sega purchased somebody.
Yeah.
Sega didn't get purchased. They did the
Right.
purchasing.
Right.
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
expecting Sega to get purchased by maybe, I
I'm-
don't know, Microsoft.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Well, now that
Alright.
they bought Angry Birds, maybe that's on
Yeah.
the radar.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Possibly. All right, let me jump into my two news stories this week. The first one comes out of Eurogamer. They have reported, quote, Rockstar has hired the team behind the popular GTA 5, 5M, and RDR2, Red Dead Redemption 2, Red M multiplayer mods. The same team that was banned from playing the game back in 2015. This team was responsible for creating some kind of modded role-player server. and then Rockstar had an issue with them. Because Scott said he was not looking forward to GTA 6 last episode, right?
Yeah.
But I look at this story and I'm like, they could potentially be doing something interesting with this, right?
Potentially.
I don't know. I don't quite know. I have one kind of interesting theoretical to throw around you guys. Thick, do you have an idea what you could do with a role play team at the GTA 6 offices?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah, it's just not something I'm really that into. So like,
Yeah. I know it did get popular on Twitch. Those roleplay servers were kind of like lighting up the charts a little bit. I don't know if they're still popular or not, but it was kind of interesting to see a year or two ago that happening. You know.
okay.
Let me throw this by you, Scott. Would you be interested in this type of microtransaction? Okay, Rockstar has a special roleplay server. You pay for access to the server for $15,
Okay.
and every character in it is voiced by an actor. So you go up, you talk to people, they're giving you missions.
Okay.
It's no longer they're not NPCs. They're acting like intelligent NPCs. Would you
Okay.
pay $15 to enter into a world with legit actors in it?
No.
Is that even moderately interesting to you?
No.
No. Thick. What about you?
I mean, no.
I mean, we're
'cause-
talking about Grand Theft Auto, though. I mean, yes, that does interest me. Not in Grand
Yeah.
Theft Auto.
Not in Grand Theft Auto. In something like maybe a
Red,
Starfield.
Sure.
Red Dead.
Yeah,
3.
that
That's
would be a
interesting.
good one. Go up that
Okay.
gold mine and get me. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I feel like I don't know if I'd be paying for this, but I'd be so interested in seeing like clips of people who are like I'm gonna pay some money to enter in this weird single player / multiplayer mission in which characters are acting out their characters, right? But interesting that you guys did not bite on that. I thought that was a
Not
crazy
so
idea.
much. I think.
No.
Yeah, it seems like a very niche. Like, if you're charging $15 for it, will it have much
Yeah.
of an audience? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess to be honest with you, I guess I would do it once just to see how,
Yeah.
how it fares, but
I don't know. 15 steep.
it's steep. It is
Bring-
steep.
bring
You got to
it.
pay those actors though. Come on, writer's strike.
I hear that.
All
You
right.
use AI generate your dialogue.
No, not that's what Rockstar's like. Rockstar's like we just need 5 more years before the AI can do this. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Jeez.
All right. My second news story comes out of GameIndustry.biz. They did a little piece on Treehouse Games, which is comprised mostly of ex-Riot developers. As we know, Riot developed League of Legends, right?
Yep.
Supposedly.
Yeah,
Valorant.
supposedly.
Yeah.
Rumor has it. The title of the article is titled "Riot Vets at Treehouse are on leaving competitive behind for co-op. Treehouse is making a survival crafting game that's centered purely around cooperation. Treehouse's chief product officer, Andrea Sepenzi, has some choice quotes. There's 2 quotes in this article I want to run by you guys. The first one is this. I think the mistake the tech folks made when looking at this opportunity, the metaverse they're talking about, was they primarily thought about how they could commercialize and brand that kind of experience. And they weren't thinking at all about the kind of experience it would need to be for people to want to be there. So I guess I briefly want to run by you, like, where are you guys on this metaverse thing? It sounded like there were other quotes in this article where they're saying like the metaverse hot time is over. Like we're kind of done with that now. All right, what do you guys say about that? Scott, let's start with you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't think that's. I don't really think they knew what they were doing. And I think that was
Because
evident.
I think they're talking about like the Facebook metaverse, right? Which
Right.
is just weird.
That's what
Yeah.
most people will talk about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But as far as like, yeah, I mean that's what meta, in quotations, metaverse.
Right.
But if you're talking about like a expanded, everyone uses it metaverse, much like the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see that.
No.
No.
Thick, what about you? Oh, sorry, Scott.
No, you're fine. It's done.
Repeat the question again.
I guess, metaverse in 5 years, are we going to be like, okay, that metaverse is back, it's a real thing, we're headed towards that future, or are you kind of like we're kind of done with that?
The way I see it is, the idea will exist, but it won't be branded as metaverse. It'll slowly sneak into
Yeah.
the mind space, right? Kind of like
Yeah.
how, with the Xbox and DRM, all digital, blah blah blah. But that
Mm-hmm.
was like everyone hated that, right?
Yeah.
But look at us now, right? Oh, you good, Scott?
Yep.
Okay.
I saw that. Like, I'm like, I bet I should tighten that, and it just dropped off. Anyway, sorry
Yeah,
about that.
I mean, basically, like it's just gonna slowly creep into the conversation in the course of like 4 or 5 years. That's the way I see it.
You think it's going
Yeah.
to be like something that's like, here it is. It's going to slowly be part of something else, and
Yeah,
then it's just going to get adopted,
yeah.
and
I
not be
think
called, not be associated with the actual metaverse at all. And
Yeah, I think like people look at NFTs and they hate them, and anyone says NFTs, they hate that phrase. But like there's core technologies behind it that will be implemented in probably similar ways, or without that same core technology, similar concepts will arise. So same thing with metaverse. I think that's going to happen.
yeah, okay,
Okay.
that's a good take. You're probably right. We're going to be using 10 years from now. We're going to all be using it. Think, hey, we're using metaverse.
Yeah,
Like
they got us.
Yeah.
they got us. Yeah, it's like, God, man, this is exactly
Yeah.
what they were talking about. So
I know in this article I think they referenced a concept called the third space before, which I've heard
Hmm.
elsewhere. And the third space is like, you have your home, that's your home space. You have
right,
your workspace. And then this third space is like video games. It's the virtual
It's
world, right?
right.
it's X.com.
It's X.com. That is,
Yeah.
yeah, right, right.
Oh God.
But again, once again, walking around this airport, that I just did, it's people are they're in those phones now. You know,
Yeah.
when I was growing up, it's like everyone was bored at the airport, everyone was people watching, and occasionally you get someone reading a book or occasionally a newspaper, right? But
Right.
it
Yeah.
was like it's easy to start a conversation with people at the airport in 1993. You cannot start a conversation with anyone at the airport today because
You're not allowed to.
you're not allowed to. You will be
Yeah.
tasered. You will be
Right.
tasered. Yeah. All right, and here's the second quote that I thought was pretty interesting here. There are tons of things you can do to make a competitive game community less toxic, but ultimately the mechanics of the game and the genre leave you in a state where no amount of band-aids can cause that to be a non-antagonistic social system. Competitive games are not designed to create pro-social relationships between players. They are in many ways designed to create the opposite. I was offended at this quote. I'm trying to actively cancel her over the next few days because this seems like a crazy quote to me.
Found the competitive player.
Yeah, you found the. You're right. Did let me ask you. When I read that quote, did it light off any lights in your brain? Thick. Let's start with you.
I mean, I would say that
You
she's
think
right to some
PvP?
extent, but
No.
but she ignores a lot of other ideas behind there. Like, there's a lot of good that comes out of it. It's kind of
Hmm.
um, like social media, right? There's a lot of good that came out of it, and then we see a lot of bad right now.
Yeah.
So like, it's kind of just like the collateral of it. Like the bad's just it's always gonna rise kind of proportionally with the good.
Okay. Scott, what about you?
Yeah, I kind of see it in a way
You do
that,
see it?
like, if you take something like Destiny 2, it's a cooperative game. It's a PvE game to its extent. There is PvP, but most people play it to play with their friends, and you're doing these things that promote cooperation and promote, like, if somebody's down, it behooves you to go get them up because you need them to help you, complete your task. So I think that on the flip side of that, if you have a strictly PvP, say like Call of Duty, where it's just, complete competitiveness, and doesn't necessarily promote team play, then yeah, I think that you have two different kind of psychologies there, in the game. And I think that certain people are drawn to either one of those type of games.
Yeah.
So yeah, in that PvP space, I don't think it promotes friendly behavior.
Camaraderie, yeah.
No, none at all.
But it's not to say that co-op is not co-op doesn't prevent that sort of behavior either. It really
No, it
depends on the
doesn't
person,
prevent
right?
it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you still got jerks, but I think that it helps promote, a more helpful,
Yeah, definitely.
space there than PvP.
All right, you're both wrong, and let me tell you why you're both wrong. Okay.
Okay.
So Call of Duty is a very toxic experience, right? Because
Super.
it there's nothing team play oriented around it. The game literally just says if you want to talk into your mic, you have to be yelling at your teammate just to get a rise out of them. That's like fun to like do for toxic people, right?
It's a
I'm
mini
trying to get a
game.
rise out of everybody.
Right.
It's a mini game. Right. To go from Call of Duty to like a game like Fortnite or PUBG or these games, I would say 99% of my experiences playing randoms, like random duo in Fortnite, was the person's just a regular person. Like no one is like swearing at me or, and like both those games are very PvP centric. When I read this, that
are they though?
no ban.
Wait. You said that was PvP centric. You're
Fortnite?
comparing. Wait. You're comparing Fortnite with Call of Duty. I don't think
Right.
that's a fair comparison. When you're playing Fortnite, you are playing against other people, but you have two other people with you that you are working cooperatively, and to help them would benefit
Yeah.
you in every single match. The more
Right.
more
Yeah,
people
yeah.
you have, and the less people they have, it benefits you. So that does promote cooperative play, whereas Call of Duty
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily.
Doesn't at all.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's a fair comparison between the two. But, Call of Duty has their own Fortnite. They have Warzone. And I haven't played that. I haven't played the new one, so I can't really speak for that. But I do wonder if that falls in between those two. Does that fall in between a Fortnite and a Call of Duty, where you have more of a cooperative gameplay experience, or is it just as completely toxic as Call of Duty?
Right.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you 100%. The reason why I say it is because the person in this quote says strictly PvP. Like no
Right.
one would classify Fortnite as a cooperative game. Like it's PvP.
It's
Yeah.
slated as
Yeah.
a PvP, exactly.
Yeah.
Although originally it was co-op, right?
Right.
Yeah, it was.
That-
It was made a
yeah.
co-op game. Yeah.
right. I do know. So Fick, I think you've played a few MOBAs in your day. I don't know if Scott has. Scott, have you?
No, not really.
So I think MOBAs are interesting because they're very team play oriented, right? Everyone has a role to fill. You kind of have to. And what happens in a MOBA, especially like a League of Legends or a Dota 2, which your matches.
Toxic.
Well, here's what happens in those games. Matches can take almost up to an hour, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of times what happens is your team is doing something, you're 20 minutes in, and then you see that your jungler bought the wrong item. Like, you freaking idiot. Why did you buy that item? You've just ruined our huge game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those games frequently like turn on a dime where it's real in the beginning, everyone's very polite to each other. And then boom, someone did something wrong. Here come the swear words. Here come the horrible insults,
Yeah.
right?
I do have a comment regarding those. Is like, I don't know why like I guess they don't see it. Like the people that get toxic because someone changed the item and then they
Right.
focus dead on because of that change is why
Right.
we lost.
Yeah.
It's always because they start talking crap rather than adjusting their own strategy to kind of
Yeah.
like compensate it. That why we all start to lose. Like everyone else starts getting in on it. It's this weird like spread of negativity that just makes the game worse.
Yeah, for sure. It is interesting. And I think you also can, depending on your personality type, you can kind of veer away from the mountain. Like, oh, my bad, dude. What do you want me to do after I bought this horrible sword? I shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
Then you can kind of get that toxic person to be like, all right, do this and we have a shot.
Yeah.
Right?
But then that toxic person, instead of like in Overwatch, like no one says anything, but then they always say crap at the end rather than say it during the match. Like,
Oh, really?
Hey,
Yeah.
you should change this. Hey,
Yeah.
we should change our comp to kind of compensate for this issue we're having. No one does that, right? They just say, actually a popular thing right now in a popular insult right now is NPC. They're calling you NPC.
Wow.
Have you heard that?
Oh, yeah, I've heard that. That's
Wow.
big.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Are you a bot? Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it's funny, but yeah,
Jeez.
it's basically like it's another way to say you're an idiot, right?
Yeah.
Like you're
yeah.
just, yeah,
Sounds like it.
yeah. I know. So thick. I don't think you play ranked on Overwatch, right? You play quick
I
play.
do play ranked.
Oh, you do play ranked. Okay.
Well, there's a different problem with Overwatch too, is that the way ranked is handled is either you steamroll the other team, or they
Right.
steamroll you. Like there's rarely any games where it's like
Yeah.
the same.
Every once in a while, there will be a great game where two evenly matched teams play, but I hear
Yeah,
you. Yeah. I know I was a Symmetra aim, so I feel like I can't aim with my thumbs. So Symmetra was a character that had a lot of auto aim, and I was pretty good with her.
yeah.
But
I kind of agree that with that if you just use controller, it is kind of hard.
right. But I know like sometimes I'd use her on attack, and she's definitely a defensive character.
Yeah.
So people would be yelling at me all the time, and so yeah, that was fun. That was fun.
Exciting.
All right. So again, you're both wrong on that. You accept your being wrong, right?
I think
We can
that's
go-
I
we-
think that's a good conversation to have, like psychologies
Right.
of different gameplay or different
I
types of
just-
games, and
Yeah.
It bugged me because she was like, no amount of band-aids can cause these game types to be non-antagonistic, and I'm like, have you ever like I played sports growing up when it's like
Yeah.
5-on-5,
yeah, it
like
kind of sounds
you
like giving up on it.
yeah, it's like the vast majority of time it's almost like you drop your personality and everyone's brain on the court is like, what do we have to do to like
Yeah.
work together? It's like one brain, in a good team. So I didn't really understand that.
There's this one thing where I feel like some people they jump to the phrase, the community or these players are toxic immediately when they're
Yeah.
not being toxic,
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
they just kind of like they look for the bad. Like I think that's also a poor mindset, right?
yeah,
Right.
Like it's like
Wait.
most of the time, like in Sea of Thieves, people say the community is toxic, blah blah blah. But like I've met a lot of people fine. Like if there's actual toxic people, you just ignore
Yeah.
them. There's so many options now.
And doesn't CFDs, if you don't want to play with someone, you can bounce out and get to a new server, right?
Yeah,
Sure.
you bounce out. You might lose a couple
Yeah.
things, but I mean,
Okay.
do you want to stay mad?
You know what it is. You know what it is though. So in CFDs, I think you guys were telling me you can do a lot of missions that are like 2 hour long missions, right?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
easy.
So again, if you have a player on your boat, on your ship that's like messing up, then you're like ruining the last 2 hours for your crew, right?
It's not that. That would be really hard to do.
It would be hard
Yeah.
to do.
I mean,
You can
like,
we put them in jail.
yeah, you can actually put them in jail and like in a cage in the ship.
Right.
But like, yeah, if
Oh,
they
okay.
like said, if they like brought down, a gunpowder barrel that was lit, to you, like if you're
Right.
below deck, and they're like, what do I do with this?
Yeah.
And it blows up and you sink your ship. That would be
Uh-huh.
pretty that would be a, yeah, we just lost everything kind of thing.
So you, okay.
So it'd be hard to do. It wouldn't be. There's not like a little accident that would cause you to do that. I wouldn't think.
I guess I'm picturing like, let's say you loot an island, you got a bunch of loot on your boat, you're going to the safe harbor that's 10 minutes away, and then you see a
Right.
ship chasing you.
Right.
Like, can't someone who's like in charge of the sails like just not be that good? And then you're like, you
Yeah.
idiot, get off the
Well-
sails, let me do it.
Yeah. I mean, there's
Right.
that, but that
That-
might not
yeah.
cost you the game.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, there's ways to prevent that, right? The better spotting of like because like
All right.
there has to be a series of things that happen for that to actually happen, right? Like
Right,
if you
right.
don't survey the area, yeah, you're gonna get surprised on. And
Right.
for me in Sea of Thieves, like the loot is like it's the reward, right? There's a risk reward element, and that's actually what
Right.
makes it fun.
Yeah.
Like the more stuff you have on the ship, the more you have to lose, blah blah
Right.
blah.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Extraction shooter, that's what it is.
Extraction
Yeah.
shooter. Whenever
it's
there's a lull in the
extraction
podcast. Yeah. All right. So let's close up shop there. Let's head to the rumor section.
Okay.
Change of play. We're going straight to rumors. Number one.
Let's do it.
According to Jeff Grubb, Microsoft is very, very, very happy with the studio behind Hi-Fi Rush. That's Tango GameWorks, right?
Right.
Yes.
Again, this is a game that was played by 3 million players. Now they just reached 3 million. Completed by 3% of the players. 3 frickin' percent.
So
It's
can't
about the
stand that.
journey. It's about the journey. Come on.
It's about the journey, and 97% are like, this journey sucks. I want to play something else, right?
I don't know if it sucks.
I know.
It's a pretty long game. It's longer than.
Yeah, that's
you
kind of
would
why I
expect.
quit. I thought it was going to be kind of quick, but there's other things that I want to play more. Not necessarily that it's a bad game, but I have to say this year has been I've been like ADHD gaming. Like it's like here's something that just came out. I'm playing it. Oh, wait a minute! I just saw a video of this game that looks that's been out for 2 years, and no one told me. I'm getting now I'm playing that, and then so it's just been that cycle of that since January.
Scott, that's not ending. If you have Game Pass, that's not going to end.
That's not going to end. Yeah.
No.
Right.
Yeah. And then like Remnant 2, I haven't touched it since last time we played.
I know I haven't either. I need some help killing this Nightweaver thing, but yeah,
Should I come help out?
yeah, I would appreciate it, and maybe that'll kick me back into that game. But yeah, I dropped off on that too because of just Baldur's Gate 3. It's kind of like
Remnant is really good. It's just the timing.
Yeah.
Did you both pay full price for that game? Or is that on Game Pass?
More or less.
We both got a discount.
I use Green Man Gaming.
Yeah,
that's where I get my discounts.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you this question: if you had a time machine, you do it all over again. Are you both purchasing Remnant 2 again?
I would.
I think what I said is, they deserve the support.
Okay.
Like, I'm very happy to pay the full amount just to show my interest
Your
in the game.
appreciation. Okay.
Yeah, and when it gets slow, this will definitely be a game I go back to.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. Rumor number 2. According to 2 Twitter followers or ex people, the Ghost of Hope and Pro Reborn YouTube, quote, something happened in Call of Duty that will have the internet in shambles when it surfaces. So this made the round. This made the round on the message boards in the Reddit that something is going to happen with Call of Duty. What could this be? I think Scott might have.
I know what it is.
What is it? Don't you say it.
The startup screen.
No, that's not.
Maybe
That's not going to do it.
Well, when they implemented, what was it, Modern Warfare 1, and then Cold War, and then I don't know, it just got very convoluted. They're going to do the same thing. I don't know what this could be. I know that it's rumored that they're going to have a lot of Modern Warfare 3 and Modern Warfare 2 maps from the original games.
Yeah.
In the new version. I don't know why that would be like devastating.
Right.
Either that, or maybe this is after this launches, they're going to announce that there's not going to be another Call of Duty for a while. This will be it.
Yeah.
I think it would be interesting if they, they're every 3 years they pump out a game, right?
Right. No.
They have 3
every year.
No, but it's 3 studios making it. Right.
Yeah, they leapfrog. Right. This time it's going to be
leapfrog.
Sledgehammer is doing this.
Right.
One. Right. So it'll be Treyarch will be next.
Right.
Yeah.
So my point was like that's a pretty, especially in 2023, that's a pretty short dev cycle.
Very,
like I feel like we're starting to push up to 5+ years now, right?
Right.
So I do wonder if if they shifted to every 2 years we're going to release a game that gives each of our studios 6 years to make one.
Yeah, Microsoft is going to announce that this is the Call of Duty that we're going to play for 10 years. So it's just going to be this one version.
Yeah. And no split screen.
Right, no split screen because we signed a deal with Sony to give them every Call of Duty after this one. So, yeah, there's not going to be one after this one for 10 years.
Yeah.
No, I think that might be what it is, and I'm kind of hoping that I don't know what else would be devastating to Call of Duty players.
Right.
This is a Y2K scare. That's all I see.
Yeah,
Let me ask you guys this: would this devastate the community if the game went open world? Would it devastate the community? Do people like that linear experience with the high production values?
You mean like with the campaign?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see them doing that.
You can't see it?
Yeah. No.
Really?
No.
I do know. I'm like, so these games have typically sell 20 million copies a year for the past 20+ years, right?
Oh yeah.
These games are crazy
more.
sellers.
Right.
I just wonder if they're like, how do we get to 40 million per unit or per? And I think that the one way I could think of is if you go open world, it might appeal to a broader group of gamers, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
But
I think
I
it's
don't
more
know
of
about
how do
that.
we make it into Fortnite?
Yeah.
right, yeah,
Like Fortnite is Fortnite. There's no Fortnite There's no Fortnite Black Ops, and then Fortnite Modern Warfare, and so on and so on and so on. Fortnite is Fortnite,
Yeah.
and you know
Right.
they're looking at that, as a live service. There's no
Yeah.
Destiny 2, well, there's actually expansions, but that model is going away. This repeated different thing every year, and it's
Right.
getting
Forza Motorsport.
right. It's getting extremely expensive, especially the campaign. So if you look at the campaign, the assets and everything that go into that campaign is getting astounding, and probably
Right.
the number of people that play it is getting much smaller. So if they're looking at that, is it maybe that the campaign is just going to go away? That would
I
be,
can't
that
see
would be
that. I can't-
devastating. It would be
would
devastating
be.
to the community
For those people.
right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming, I'm a completion rate junkie. I have to assume those completion rates on those campaigns are pretty high.
Well, they're short. It's
They're-
not
'cause they're short,
it's
right.
not a Hi-Fi Rush or a
Right.
Death Stranding by any means.
Right.
So there are people that I know personally that buy it, play the campaign, will play multiplayer for about a month, and then
Right, they're happy.
It's done. Yeah, they
Yeah.
won't pick it up again until the next one comes out.
Yeah.
So, I don't know though that if that number's getting smaller and smaller, if that's not what's selling it, it might be going away.
Right.
Okay.
Rumor number 3. According to job listings, Sony Santa Monica is looking to hire a combat designer with knowledge of 2018's God of War and God of War Ragnarok, suggesting they're working on another one. Can we all just boo collectively at the same time? Boo.
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 Innovate.
Yeah.
Innovate.
I guess it would be nice, if I'm in charge of one of these companies, you kind of have to milk the cow that is.
I mean, yeah.
You have to do it.
Sony's kind of going into that another Gears of War kind of.
Right. Yeah, they've
thing,
kind
right?
of flipped. They flipped, yeah.
Yeah, the generations are like they're taking turns.
I guess it would be nice if Sony Santa Monica is like a 2-team studio, like Cory Balrog's doing the new IP, and then the B team is going to work on the new God of War, right?
Unless the next God of War is going to be an open world live service game.
Yeah. We can only hope. All right. Rumor number 4.
Royale.
Bungie. You guys remember Bungie. Bungie is looking for developers to work on one of its more promising incubation projects. Apparently, the project is codenamed Gummy Bears.
Nice.
The game is influenced by the MOBA genre, platformers, life sims, and frog-type games with lighthearted comedic elements in the world. Did you guys just hear...
Wait, you heard Frog?
What?
You're not familiar with the frog-type genre?
Not quite.
You mean like Battletoads?
I was thinking Frogger.
Well,
Like
those are toads technically. So this is going to be a live service Frogger game.
What a
Extraction.
weird... what the heck is a life sim?
Oh, that's easy. That's
Like
yeah, I mean,
Second
it's
Life?
Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
To an
So-
extent.
Okay. They're making a Animal Crossing type game. That's what it sounds like, right?
But
They're
they
lowering
said
it-
MOBA.
Yeah, well, it
MOBA.
could be a MOBA, but think of it as a multiplayer, like,
Metaverse.
I don't know. Maybe it's stuff that like you grow these things and put them in a MOBA
right.
and fight them. I don't know. But it sounds like it sounds like a mobile game.
Oh,
It could
that's
be.
interesting.
Yeah.
So,
That could
do
be.
you guys know about Palia? That's a live
Yeah.
sim game that's
Yeah.
making charts
Right.
right now. So probably something like that.
Yeah. I'm
But
interested in
MOBA
that game. I need to look into it.
MOBA is very PvP. MOBA is
Yeah,
like
it's a competitive, right? That's
Yeah.
why I'm thinking it's more of like a maybe it's like a Pokemon situation where you
Yeah.
grow your Poke. That's cool.
right?
Scott,
you have like a farm simulation, and then you grow these things,
Yeah.
and you have a ranch, a frog ranch.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
A frog.
the way I see it, maybe like this is my idea. It would be kind of cool. Like you mine stuff and then you build battle bots and you fight each other.
Yeah, totally. I get that.
Yeah,
I get that.
I would play that.
Yeah, Scott, hats off to you because I looked at those 4 genres and I'm just like, I have no idea what that looks like. But I like what you both said about,
Yeah.
maybe you grow some
Yeah.
characters and you fight those characters.
Yeah,
Kid.
Scott and I are actually starting our own game development studio.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah.
Oh, you are? And I'm not invited to that.
It's called No Nate Studios.
Oh, wow. All right.
All right, sorry.
You'll be
what
hearing
was
from
our
my
second? I think
lawyers.
it was Nateless. I know it was Nateless
Nateless.
Studios.
All right. Well, I guess we do have one more rumor this weekend.
One bonus, right?
One bonus rumor. You're getting
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So leaked image of a Switch competitor, Switch or Steam Deck competitor, however you want to say it. I don't like using the word killer because it's a stupid phrase.
Yeah.
Lenovo, who creates desktops and whatever right now, there's a leaked image. It's called the Lenovo Legion Go. Not the greatest name. And the picture is basically, it looks like a Switch, as in like it has the flat panel, it has a kickstand, and then the controllers for it come off. Unlike the Steam Deck and what is it, the Asus? Yeah.
ROG Ally. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've showed you guys the picture. It has the same sort of railing to kind of slot it in. There's one touchpad. So rumor has it it's going to be within the same price range as like the Steam Deck at least. And then we're looking probably at a fall holiday season kind of release.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So I don't know. You guys seen the picture? We'll link the picture within the post on YouTube. What do you guys think?
I am personally not a fan of Lenovo as a company, as a producer of products. But saying that, they've been trying to kind of squeeze into the gaming market. This is just kind of a weird way to do it right now, but I don't know. I mean, we'll have to. I do like it looks nice.
Yeah.
Where you can take the screen and maybe just watch a movie or something on it, and then take the the joysticks off or whatever. But
the joysticks look more comfortable than
they
Switch,
do,
at least,
and
right?
by taking those off makes me think it's like, oh well, if one of the sticks breaks or if a button goes bad or something like that,
They can sell you,
right. You can buy a replacement, and you're not sending it in for repair. So that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like you could play multiplayer. You know how you could use the two Switch controllers for multiplayer, because one of them has like a D-pad rather than like 4 buttons, like the left one. So it doesn't seem great for that aspect. And there doesn't seem to be shoulder buttons. So it seems like you're mostly taking off the controllers, so you could just kind of.
There's no shoulder buttons?
No, hold on. There's like you know how the Switch one has like shoulder buttons when you have a single Joy-Con? It's kind of like hidden in the rails. This does not have that. So yes, there are shoulder buttons, but it's only in like
I don't think it's something that they're making for, to hand somebody and go, let's play this game. Yeah.
Right. The Switch is great for, I have a 12-year-old, I have a 10-year-old, I have a 9-year-old. Like they want to play games together, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and this is a Windows one, so this will run anything. Anything you have that runs Windows.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Probably anything that runs on Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Or maybe even more.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah.
The Steam Deck really, I guess actually the Switch / the Steam Deck really influenced a lot of these companies to put their foot in the ring, right?
I don't mind it. I'll wait for people to perfect it, and then when there's like the great price value, I still have my Steam Deck, but I hardly play it because I just play on my PC. But when they make it get better, I'll be more interested.
Well, yeah, to add something in conversation, the other day I went to Best Buy and they had a Rogue or a ROG. Is it Rogue or ROG? I think it's ROG. It's a Republic of Gamers. Anyway, so I was able to kind of pick it up and look at it. And my wife, who plays on Xbox, there are some things that we can't play together now because I'm, solely on PC, and she's still on Xbox. And I thought, well, she doesn't want to use a mouse and keyboard. And I don't blame her. I mean, if you don't want to use it, you're not going to pick it up and excel at it. But something like that, I mean, that would be a good introduction to someone that wants to get into PC gaming, but is not comfortable with, having a huge box and a monitor and a mouse and a keyboard. It might be something that's like, hey, now we can play all these games together, but you're essentially doing the same thing you did before with a controller, just on a portable device.
Yeah.
So made me think of it in a brand new way. That's all I'm saying.
Did I tell you guys I was at the airport recently?
Yeah, you might have
All
mentioned
right.
it.
Well, anyway, so I saw a guy with a Steam Deck there, right?
Oh,
I'm like,
cool.
wow, nice. That's a true gamer over there. But you know what? I feel like 5 years ago, I was like, people who play like hardcore, or I guess adults who play hardcore games in public are like a little, there's some stigma attached. If
There's definitely some stigma.
yeah, but you know what I noticed about this guy playing his black Steam Deck?
What's that?
Everyone around him has a glowing thing in their face, which is their phone.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just
What's
like
the
everyone
difference?
has a glowing. Yeah, what's the
Yeah.
difference, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like,
you
good
got
for you,
dedicated. He's probably playing Witcher 3
right?
Elden Ring.
or Elden
No, it's
Ring.
probably Angry Birds he was playing on that Steam Deck.
That's Stranding. That's Stranding.
At an airport. Right.
Yeah. All right, that's going to do it for our rumor section. We're going to run into a new section called Small Talk because I don't know how long this talk can last, okay?
Okay.
So I chose this topic. So we're going to be talking about Fortnite right now, right? I feel like in a sense we're approaching Fortnite's expiration date. That's right. Fortnite's #1 fan has said we're reaching the conclusion.
Okay.
I feel like the next year we're gonna just have a bevy of new multiplayer games that have kind of this new wave coming, right? And I thought it would be a good idea to put a cap on the greatest game of all time, and I thought a way to do that would be to force my two co-hosts to play Fortnite and their thoughts on the game before it's laid 6 feet underground.
Yeah.
I thought a good way to do that, I've been hearing on various podcasts now, Fortnite is good. It's good now that they've added the no build mode. So I was like, oh my gosh, a no build mode. It's like training wheels. It's like, it's all coming together. Apparently it's good. So without me saying much more, I want to get your thoughts on how the yesterday's hour-and-a-half session was with the GOAT, the greatest of all time. All right.
Okay.
Scott, I played with you first. We all three of us
Okay.
never hooked up, but Scott, what repulsed you about the game? What did you like about the game? What are your thoughts?
I'll start with what I liked about the game. I haven't played the game in several years, but I did notice that, and I think Thick noticed it too. But the gunplay felt better. The playing a lot of playing a lot of third-person shooters. This one, they got the camera right. I mean, they got the feel right. It's probably not easy to do, but some games, and we referred to Remnant 2, does a fine job of it, but there's something off about it where the shoulder and the gun and just that nothing like lines up the way it should. At least for me. I think other people have mentioned it in the Reddit, but this gets it. This feels good. So any weapon that I've picked up felt like it was viable. There were a couple that were, I got the Dragon's Breath sniper and popped that guy behind a leaf.
You got to kill with it.
Just a one shot, one kill.
Yeah.
So the gunplay was good. Of course, the performance, the frame rate was, I was pegging out my frame rates. And yeah, so I mean, it's like a solid shooter, or at least it feels like it. So, but as far as
get to the negatives, Scott. I want to hear
the
this.
negatives is, I think I told you this when we were playing it. It's like my 16-year-old self is having a fever dream, as we're going into a match next to Boba Fett and Kylo Ren and Deadpool, and I think there was you saw Mel Gibson. I'm sure there was many others.
He looked like he had a few drinks. He looked like he had a few
it was
drinks.
staggering. Yeah. It was the Mel Gibson bot. It's thrown in like every other match, but it was like Comic-Con, and then all of these things that just seemed like out of place. Like we stop at this medieval tavern and get health.
Scott's trying to ask me about the lore. He's trying
I'm like, why is this here? What is the reference to this? Why is nothing? Why did we walk 2 steps and now it looks like it's Christmas? And then so I mean, I didn't really have a problem with the gameplay. The aesthetics to it make it easy to see targets, even far off.
Okay.
Whereas some games make it a little more difficult. It was, it's very colorful, and the ability to, even though there's no build mode, you can still destroy stuff. So you can, take cover out if need be, or just move something.
Yeah, I think they do a really good job with that mode.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and it felt more like a battle royale than it did a Fortnite, making forts. But yeah, it just like, if I had to sum it up, I just think for me it's like the Taylor Swift of video games.
Ouch.
It's not. I mean, I don't necessarily mean that in a bad way. I just think it's like, there's a lot of people that like Taylor Swift.
Just not
a
for
lot
you.
of people.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just not one of them. So.
Okay. All right, Thick, let's go over to you. Is there anything that you can add there, at least pros or cons, either way?
I like Taylor Swift.
Oh, nice,
Okay.
nice.
Yeah, but
What's your favorite song? What's your favorite Taylor Swift song?
I usually like her more like older songs, when she was a little
Nice.
bit more country, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
the pop thing, it was like a very selfish. Okay, we're not talking about Taylor Swift. But, okay, so
Your street
the thing
cred's
that-
going.
Yeah. What's it? So the first thing I do notice about Fortnite, because I did know they changed the gunplay a while ago, like before the whole next gen update. Like I remember there's this one period where they were focusing on, hey, we're gonna make the guns feel good, and I think the guns are at a pretty good point. Like shooting each gun feels good. It does feel like at least with controller, there's a fair amount of auto aim,
Yeah.
depending
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
range, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. I think Halo's guilty for it too, even though some people don't really mention it.
Yeah.
I really like the next gen update. I think it makes the game it pops out a lot more. Like it's very clean. It's not
Very clean.
overly not overly bearing.
Mm-hmm.
But there's like a lot of details to it, and I like that also on console they have 120 frames per second now.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so technically you were impressed with it, just the technology side of it. Okay.
Certain things where like I noticed they added a lot of like progression type systems. There's always things popping up on the screen, right? There's like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
completed this area.
Right.
Kudos, have XP, right?
Yeah.
Like and I do like the little kind of interactions with the world. Like remember, like you talked about that key card. I picked up the key card,
Right.
and then there's this icon is down below, and
Right.
then you have to destroy something in the building to reveal it. And it was just like, oh, that's kind of fun. Like it's
Kinda
a nice
unique.
little surprise to a match we're playing.
Mhm.
You know what I didn't like though? Bot lobbies.
Oh my gosh, Scott.
Yeah.
Scott, I kept saying to Thick. So I think we just played 3 games and we won all 3.
Yeah.
So pro gamers over here. But literally I was starting to say, hey Thick, you want to go kill up some more guys or humans? I can't remember what I said. And every time Thick would be like, you mean bots? And I was like, yes, I mean bots.
Yeah.
I honestly, I mean, I'm assuming we had to kill a human here or there, but it felt like every one was a bot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I think in our matches, like that first one was obviously
right.
like, and because my level, I don't know what Thick's level was, but I was like level 8, I think. No,
You got up there.
No,
to
it was
10? I
like
thought you
level-
made it to 10.
no, I'm under 10.
I'm level 11
Yeah.
from what I remember.
So that first one was obviously, bots, but the
Right.
the later ones, I know some of the stuff. Being able to predict maybe what somebody's going to do based on what you would do, like he's behind that rock. If I shoot over here, he's going to run toward it, not the opposite way, and and it does that. So that made it a little more interesting. But yeah, of course the bots are kind of, and I get that. I mean they've that's in most of these games now, but I guess it could be fun.
Well, it's interesting because I play a lot of that build mode, right? And you do see them making improvements to the bots to where like they're half the time you're like, was that a human or was that a bot? And you're like, eventually you're like, I think it was a bot. In the no build mode, the bots are way dumber and worse than the build mode bots.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they don't hit you. They shoot at you for 5 straight seconds and they don't hit you. In the build mode, you're getting hit within 2 seconds. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Yeah.
they're all so they're, it just seems like their behavior is a lot more varied in the build mode. So I just thought that was kind of unique or kind of interesting.
You know what? Hey, Fortnite's actually just AI training ground.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
yeah, like remember it was an Ender's Game.
Yeah.
Remember,
Something
like
like that.
they're telling Ender it's just the video game, but in
just a
reality,
video, yeah,
it
it's
was
not.
real.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You can,
All right, so you guys have spoken your piece about this, but here's what I want to do right now. I want to apologize to both of you because like I said to you, I hear a lot in podcasts. Oh, Fortnite is good again because that no build mode is good, guys. That's the basically the first 3 hours I played of that no build mode. In the fantasy movies or the sci-fi short stories where a character dies and then another person kind of recreates them,
Yeah.
kind of like Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm.
And then the character quickly learns like, oh, it's like it's not a real representation of the person I loved.
Right.
It's like this Frankenstein ugly monster. That's what happened to me yesterday. That's not really
It's like Pet
Fortnite,
Sematary.
you two.
Yeah, I get
Yeah,
that.
it's like Pet Sematary.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because I was saying like Thick was like, are you gonna keep playing Destiny? I was like, I'd keep playing Destiny if you and Scott wanted to, play it once a week. I would jump in just because you guys are the attraction, not necessarily because the gameplay appeals to me that much.
Right.
I felt like yesterday, I'm like, oh, this is like a Destiny type experience where you're just shooting AI. It's nothing is that interesting about it. All the engagements in the game, I tell you guys, this is the greatest game of all time because the engagements are so varied, right?
Right.
You can make so many different options in like a 60-second or a 2-minute fight. And all the engagements yesterday were shoot that guy or hide behind the rock and shoot that guy. That guy can shoot at you or he can hide behind the tree and shoot at you. Nothing interesting was happening in those fights. Right?
But
That sounds like a
Right.
battle royale to me.
yeah.
Scott, so you guys can see, I drew you a diagram back there. Do you guys see that diagram?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that,
you
is
see
that
how
the duo strategy?
Do you see how the circles are shooting the X's and the X's are hiding behind things in the environment?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if I drew a diagram with build mode on, there would be so many squiggles and so many little like things
Well,
in
why
it.
didn't
Like,
we play build mode?
I thought neither of you two could handle it. I mean, it's the way I
Whoa,
hear.
you thought wrong.
Wow.
Nate.
Look,
You thought
the way I
Wow.
hear people like non-Fortnite players talk about build mode is like it's like you have to learn an instrument, right?
I mean, I've anytime I've played Fortnite, it's in build mode.
Oh my gosh, what did I do? I don't know.
I mean,
what
I love
did.
shooting
wasted-
people. Oh, look at that fort you're building. That's great. Pop. Like just moving on.
Right, right,
Yeah, let me see
I-
you build something as I shoot you.
right. I did think I made another mistake. Apparently, there's ranked play, no build mode.
Yeah, what did we
And
do?
I-
Unranked?
We played unranked.
That's
And
probably
I'm
why
like,
we got all
should-
the bots. Yeah.
Exactly. I was like, we should have done ranked, right? So I'm not gonna ask you guys to play that again, but I do want to let you know I failed you, and I do want to let you know that anyone who says Fortnite no build mode is good, gamer card, take it away from them. Take that gamer card right away because that was not a good game that we played. I don't think.
Oh, it was fine.
It's fine. Yeah.
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 I know, I won't belabor this point, but I play Fortnite build mode with one other person all the time. We're constantly yelling at each other, like, this is what you should have done, this is what I should have done. And we're once we die, we're like talking about our points of failure throughout the game.
Yeah.
Throughout the little match, the little engagement.
Right.
And each time you're being criticized, you're like, okay, I see his point, but here's what I saw. It's like a fascinating little like exchange back and forth.
Right.
There was nothing I wanted to talk to you guys about after like we died or we killed anyone. It was just like,
Yeah.
so what are you doing next week?
We didn't die though.
No, we didn't die.
I did once. Yeah, you got me back, but
Yeah, I just felt like there was
twice,
no.
I think.
I tell you guys this. I don't like Halo. Is like all the engagements just feel very repetitive, very samey.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't feel like my brain didn't catalog any of our engagements as like memorable yesterday. And I'm telling you, the last time I played build mode Fortnite with my partner, like I could recall like certain battles that we played, which
Yeah.
is just something interesting to think about, I guess.
I got you.
But hopefully the new era of multiplayer starts with Helldivers 2. Am I right, guys?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope we get a maybe at Gamescom we'll get a release date.
surprise drop.
Ooh,
I'm
that
hoping
would
so.
be even better.
When is Gamescom? Gamescom is a few days away.
Yep. It
We
starts on
are coming
Tuesday, right? Or Monday. Is it tomorrow?
Is it
21st?
22nd or 23rd?
I think it's the
I know
22nd.
23rd is the Xbox showing, but yeah.
Okay. And so, do we remember like last year's Gamescom? Did it have a decent amount of like reveals? Was it worth getting excited about?
They've said now this year there's not going to be a lot of reveals here.
Healy said a lot of updates on games, right?
Updates, yeah, but that's not really speaking for the smaller studios. That's for the major
Right.
studios.
Right. I do know there's that battle royale called Off the Grid. Neil Blomkamp is somehow involved with that. I'm hoping we see that at Gamescom, right? But
23rd. It started today? No, that can't be right.
no.
No, it's
'Cause the
August.
first day
It's
is the big
Wednesday,
day.
August 23rd to Sunday the 27th. So it starts Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what we'll
Okay.
be talking about next week.
That's right. That'll be a big topic.
Cool.
All right, Scott, I think that did it for our podcast. Why don't you tell listeners how they can find us and interact with us?
Well, if you're listening to the audio version, then of course you can pick us up on Apple, on Google, on Spotify, pretty much anywhere where you get podcasts. And then, of course, if you're watching us on YouTube, it's on YouTube. And leave us a comment below. Hit us a like. Hit a subscribe button if you want to hear more.
Yeah, tell us what you think about Fortnite.
Yeah. Yeah. Drop us a question. Let us know. I mean, you can alter the podcast if you want. It's interactive, so just let us know.
Podcasting as a service.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a live service podcast.
Yeah, we hear you. We'll, fix it in the next hot fix.
Right.
That's right. That's right.
Nice.
All right, this is my favorite part of the show when Fick teaches us a life lesson by
Yes.
giving us a quote.
Okay.
Fick, can you do it
Okay.
this week?
I got a life lesson. Well, it's not even a life lesson, but okay. Data indicates that human beings improve their performance through competition.
Oh.
I like that. I like
Yeah,
that
I
one.
knew you would like that.
I'm a
Yeah.
PvP guy.
I
Yeah.
had to pull this up from my Rolodex of quotes. And this
Where's
is
it
from
from?
Exoprimal.
Oh, it's from. Wait, so when you die, it feeds you a few
No,
quotes?
this is like at the very beginning of each match, he tells you this, and it changes depending on
It does.
when what point of the story, I think. But yeah,
Cool.
Scott, 2 months ago, never in my wildest dreams would I be thinking we'd be talking about Exoprimal as much as we've talked about it in this podcast.
Nor
welcome.
nor Fortnite.
That's no, not me. Me, I'm like, oh, talking about way less than I anticipated. But I hear you. I hear you. Can you guys say goodbye in a different language other than English? I'm going with aloha. I'm going with aloha.
I don't think that's
yeah,
goodbye.
No, aloha is good. What is it, Scott?
Yaate.
Oh wow, what is that?
Navajo.
Navajo.
Do you know Navajo
don't-
in Navajo is not Navajo? It's the Nebaza.
What is it? Really?
Yeah, isn't that weird?
What is up with Scott's brain? How he collects this information and he can just.
I grew
out.
up with Microsoft Encarta every version
Okay.
on CD.
All right.
Yeah, when
All
that was a
right.
thing.
Thick, you can't be the only one not to say
I only
goodbye.
speak
no.
English.
Oh wow! All right. Well, that's gonna do it for our podcast this week. Everyone, will see you on Monday. All right.
Monday. Bye.
Yes. Adios.